Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Urban Pro Wrestling. And as I said before, we are acquiring talent. Already one butched word into this interview. Let's go. I'm really excited to have this man on because, well, it's another piece to the puzzle as we keep on acquiring talent. Ladies and gentlemen, Moses Moraga, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, brother. And, I'm just tired, but I'm doing great.
I feel it, man. Happy Monday to everyone, by the way. And I wanted to go right into it because my favorite question to ask everyone is always out of any industry, why professional wrestling? Like, what made you sit there and say, this is what I want to do for a career?
What made me decide to do wrestling? Um, Watching it with my older brother for the first time, um, seeing like the characters, just doing Attitude Era, doing the WCW, just seeing these fanatic people. Like, wow, like seeing Kane. I was inspired by Kane. I was inspired by Dusty Rhodes. Just growing up and back in the days, just watching it and just like I believed everything. Like every single thing, like, oh my God, this is the craziest things I've never done. And then going to school, talk about it with my friends, that inspired me, that it just triggered with me around 7 years old. I just wanted to do this. Like, I have to.
Was there any like match that you kind of sat there and that was like the deciding factor too? There's always the inspiration, but what was like, yeah, this is gonna be me someday.
The match that really, really triggered me, like, to really go for it was I was watching Kane and the Undertaker when Kane made his debut. And I was seeing the Hell in a Cell match with him going against Shawn Michaels. And then you just see Kane pop out of nowhere. And that was like, I want to do this so bad. Like, this is my inspiration. Like, just being one badass dude, just destroying the cage wall door, and just like confronting his own brother. Because me and my brother will always go up at it with each other, and I'm like, I will always lose against my brother. So I was like, I was inspired to be like, okay, I want to be dominant like him. But I know myself, I'm not that tall, but that was the trigger that like Kane was one of my inspirations, a few others as well. But that was the match that was like, I have to do this.
And to follow that, I always ask training because I think it's really easy to sit and be like, I want to do that, and then you get to training, and you're like, wait a minute, is this something I really really want to do? Did you ever have like any difficulty training wise? Like, was there anything that was like super hard to pick up?
Well, because I started off at Rusty Brook, wrestling here. I started off with Diamante and Ricky Martinez, because we went to the same school, and just doing the roles for the first time was so weird for me. It was like it was hard for me in the beginning because I was 16, and but over time, just getting the hang of it, I conquered it. The only thing that was really trouble later on was actually to you know keep up with certain move sets, or like there's certain move sets I can't do, so it's kind of a little difficult for me, and I still try to do them, but I know for a fact, okay, I know my limit, so I have to change it up. I have to change the style. This doesn't work for me.
I wanted to ask too, and you can probably definitely elaborate more on this. I used the words sequencing. Was it ever hard to kind of like just sequence a match?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, was it ever hard to necessarily just like put together a match, like to have it very fluid? Like, was that something that just kind of was like easy for you or hard? Like, because you're going to go into that.
No, putting up a match wasn't hard because over time I started learning. Okay, what is the how we're gonna end it, what we're gonna build up to. That wasn't hard because and the first time, yes, because I didn't know anything. But after I got used to it, we just go with the flow. You feel like because whoever you face it, like with me, I face people that I just deal with the flow, and when I'm training with them, okay, this is what we do. Okay, we're doing this. Boom, 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 and it just naturally for me because I listen when it comes to being in the ring, and it's not that hard. It's just pulling it off. That's a little hard sometimes.
And to kind of to follow it up too, was there ever like a type of match that you kind of sat there and you realized, all right, well, I was here and I felt like this kind of elevated my game to another level. Like you were like, all right, I'm starting to get better and better, and this is kind of like a nice little pinnacle for me.
Every single match, because now that I'm being trained by Foreman Alex G, um, everything I try to improve better and better and better. Because he tells me you can improve in this, you can improve in your strikes, you can improve in your cardio when it comes to running the ropes. I mean, just to get better and better and better. So I won't wear myself down as much. So everything I always go to my trainer and say, hey, how was this? And he always gives that small critique. Like, you can do better with this to improve. And then I try to work on it when I get in the ring, or I just look at the other stars or the other wrestlers while they're training and learn from that to do it better.
And I've always got to ask is, you're a guy that, when you speak, it's very believable. But I've got to ask, on a microphone, I always feel it's a very, a hot mic for you, a hot take. So, was that something that was just like was something you've always been good at? Like some people legit have the gift of gab. Was that something for you that was just kind of easy?
Well, being on the mic, in the beginning, I mean, for me, it's kind of like if I hit my Spanish side, it's naturally. I'm still trying to work on the English side when it comes to speaking, because I got to be careful what I say. But Spanish is like naturally like easy for me.
All right. And I also did want to know because you've had a bunch of matches at this point, and when it comes to in-ring psychology, I always love asking this question. I mean, how important is it for you from a storytelling perspective and just from like engaging the crowd, the in-ring psychology?
To me, it's very important because when it comes to like with the crowd, I mean, I don't want to lose the crowd if there's no psychology or storytelling, because I'm like, then I don't want to be like screamed at, oh, you had a boring match or all this. I mean, you lost the crowd, because I'm like, if I'm working heel, if I'm working on stage, I want the crowd behind me, and there's certain spots that certain moments that you can just get the crowd attention, and so psychology is very important for me, because I'm learning more and more psychology as I go with Alex G and Banner as well. They're teaching me a little bit more that I didn't know. So that for me is very, very important when it comes to storytelling as well.
And I've always kind of found this is a little bit different. Did you, or no, this is actually better. In terms of inspiration, like who are your top three?
My top three is Eddie Guerrero, Dusty Rhodes, and Mick Foley.
Well, those are like three completely different areas of wrestling. How do you kind of blend that into your style?
Into my style, because Eddie Guerrero first, because I'm Hispanic and I'm from Nicaragua, and there has never been a wrestler from Nicaragua, or to my knowledge, and if there is, I mean, they're not embracing it. And I am. I'm trying to embrace my own country because there's never been one. And his style, just like, I know I could have Spanish people behind me, or even different type of people behind me, because I can pretty much bring up the crowd. As far as Dusty Rhodes, is just his old school style. Like when it came to wrestling, when I used to watch him go against Harley Race and old tapes, or Ric Flair, just learning certain moves from him and try to bring him into the ring. And as far as for Mick Foley, it's because Mick Foley just did crazy stuff that I'm like, okay, I can do that. I mean, I don't mind doing that. I don't mind doing crazy stunts. And that's why I decided to bring my own style into the character that I am myself. And that's why it kind of blends in with who I am. That's why those are the top three.
So, would you? Because now I got to ask in terms of styles, because it sounds very, like you're a hybrid. Then you've got, technical wrestling, strong style, uh, hybrid, luchador. You got a whole bunch of different styles. Would you call yourself more of a hybrid, or is there one that you kind of like to primarily base your moveset around, your arsenal, if you will?
I'm sorry, repeat the question one more time. I do apologize.
Yeah, no problem. So, like in terms of your arsenal, in pro wrestling, there's lucha libre, high flying, pro technical wrestling, hardcore. There's a whole bunch of different styles. Are you more of a hybrid, or is there one that you kind of base your arsenal around?
More like a hybrid, but I would go to more into the old school because of my trainer. He's more into the old school. So, but if it comes to, I'll kick into hybrid, depending on where I'm at or what type of match I'm in. I'll just go into the hybrid mostly. But old school, if I want to tell a classic story, a good story to the crowd, then I'll go old school.
And for the fans who don't necessarily know old school that well, could you kind of like just deep dive into that? 'Cause I'm pretty sure there are some of them out there.
Well, for them who don't know old school, it's just like I don't mean shouldn't be doing like crazy stuff like high flying and all that stuff. It's about mostly like technical work and your ring ability. I mean, I can't really explain it, but for me, it's like I'm not much of a high flyer. I can't do like a cross body over the top rope or anything like that. I rather just work around the ring, and just show my stuff. I can be a technical or submission, and or I can overpower you. It doesn't matter. It's for me, like that's my type of style, and I can try to describe it like that. But that's for me kind of old school, like because I'm learning a lot when it comes to NXT. Um, yeah, I'm just not into the whole high flying how nowadays they can do like a sunset flip or 450 like nothing. I'm like I can't do that. That's not my style.
I'm a very big fan of technical wrestling. I think that's where the most storytelling is. In terms of Justice, I really want to know because you got so many great inspirations. Harley Race being another one. Besides Dusty, is there anyone else that kind of fits me in? Possibly like either Piper, things like that. It's tech wrestling. I think one of the most important aspects to pro wrestling. I think that's where the core of wrestling starts. So for you, was there more than just Dusty? I mean, because there's a whole arsenal for you
No, there. No, I can go even from way beyond. I can go from the Von Erichs. I can go from Harley Race, from Bullet Bob, Bullet Strong Arm. I can go. I love old school wrestling, and I started watching more a lot. So I mean, it doesn't. It can go from the Funk to Terry Funk to Dory Funk. Um, wrestling's always been a passion of mine since watching the first WWE when I was WWF during the time. So I started watching more clips because I wanted to learn how the business worked when it came to different styles and different characters. Living a grand persona. Like even with Rick Rude, I never thought he was gonna be. I never saw a guy like that, wearing somebody's wife's face in his trunks or anything like that. Bret Hart, Owen Hart. I mean, the Hart Foundation. There's so many people that I was inspired and like, okay, I like his style. I want to use that style. I want to use that move. Those are I can go beyond that. Even with Sting, before he went black and white and his surfer days, like I pick up and try to use that into my move set or their promos, how they talk or how they speak, especially Piper. When it came to Piper, how you talk, I try to use that with my Spanish side.
And so as a student of the game too, what's one part that you feel that you can improve on the most?
What I can improve, um, I could. I mean, there's a lot to improve, man. I'm like, you never stop learning here. Like, even meeting Gangrel for one time, I'm like, just listening to him how he speaks and how he trains on his students. It was just like, whoa, I never saw this side. So it's something like in this business, I learned that you never stop learning. no matter how many years you got in the game, you still keep on learning. So you can always improve yourself.
Ever evolving. I like that. And what is one part to your game that you feel that you crafted the most?
Practice the most. I mean, for me, it's pretty much doing crazy stuff. Like I practice the most on that. Because I'm willing to take headshot, I mean chair shots or tables or anything. That's what I pretty much learned mostly. And also, and a little bit, I'm trying to learn more technical, to master because I'm now seeing different styles, even when I'm Simon Gotch. Because I met Simon Gotch, his style is different, because I'm seeing every other wrestler does their own different type of moveset. But I'm pretty much mastered in hardcore because I can take a lot of pain.
And speaking about meeting Simon Gotch, I wanted to know if you could kind of break down, I guess, the meeting that you had with him. What were some key takeaways from that?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So for like Simon Gotch and you meeting him, what were some key takeaways from that?
From him, just meeting him was like, it was just like, whoa, like it was overwhelming because I'm like seeing how Benny Blanco was training and then seeing his clips and seeing how he does, certain movesets, like strong style. I was amazed. I'm like, okay, I gotta learn from this man. But I haven't had the opportunity to yet, but I will. But just seeing his in-ring style, like in the mat, just being straight up technical, like 100% technical, I was like, yeah, I got to learn more when it comes to his craft.
Gotch is one of those guys that's very highly underrated for the most part, and I think a phenomenal technical wrestler. For those who have seen his work in MLW, it's insane. I think there's just a knowledge of wealth there, a wealth of knowledge. There you go.
Yeah.
So I hope that works out. I think it's a fantastic training for you too. And to follow that, I always ask because I always want to butcher people say finishers because I never know. I never get the name right. I always butcher it. Because you guys always call it something different from what it is.
Right.
So if you could break it down for me, good sir.
Okay, what? Because the names. What do you want me to break down for you so I can explain it?
Some people have more than one. Your finisher, sir.
My finisher?
Yes, sir.
At this moment I do not have a finisher. I just have the submission, the tag mission right now at this moment. I'm trying to learn a certain type of move that is a little tricky that I haven't been able to
yet. Could you?
But right now it's just a mission.
Could you possibly break that little tricky move down for me?
It's like a tilt-a-whirl space buster.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. And then I have two questions left. First one being basically, what are your goals in pro wrestling?
My goal is, I want to go to New Japan. That's my main goal for it. If I can get the opportunity, it'll be of a lifetime. But also be able to travel throughout Central America. Because now I've started seeing that they're actually having pro wrestling in Central America that they never had in wrestling before. So I would love for my name to be out there in Central America. Besides Mexico, Mexico is a big spot, but like El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, they might have small wrestling, but they're not as big as they're going now. Because I just found out this year Nicaragua had their first ever wrestling event. So I'm like, I would love to be a part of it, because that's my homeland. And my future goals is like, I just want to be able to travel and inspire people, inspire minorities, Hispanics, or any other type of people that it's never too late to chase your dreams. And no matter the age, life is going to get hard, but you shouldn't stop, because at one point I did stop, but if it wasn't for Alexander or Benny Blanco, I wouldn't be pursuing it how I am right now.
Wow.
So that is my dream goal, is like we all three of us want to go to New Japan and just blow the roof out there. But my main goal as well is just to be able to travel and inspire Hispanics. You know, you're able to do this if you want to become a wrestler. If you want to chase your dreams, it's never too late. And you can achieve it by working hard. And, you know, by learning a lot backstage and learning a lot just by watching as well and listening.
Huh, that right there is a powerful statement, everyone. Seriously, if you do have a dream, go for it on a real note. And the last one, what are your goals in urban pro wrestling? My English is awful today.
My goal is I just want to break down the roof. I want to tear down the house, like, and just make fans be like, oh, we gotta come to the show. It's gonna be awesome. We don't know what to expect. It's gonna be crazy. You know, I just want to be like, give them a great show. Doesn't matter what type it is. If it's a singles tag team, 6-man tag, it don't matter. It's just for them to have that moment. It's like, man, I have fun that night. And I remember this cat just do some great wrestling and the other two dudes blowing the roof out, like just having fun.
I love to hear that. Especially, this is the business of making memories and creating moments, and I love that response. And with that, to end it on a high note, do you have any social media show that you want to plug?
Yes, you can follow me on my Twitter my Instagram is the Nicaraguan Lunatic, Nicaraguan _lunatic, and on my Twitter is Nika _lunatic 89. Or you can follow me on Facebook, Moises Moraga. It don't matter. I accept you friends. I don't care.
And with that, folks, definitely do all of that right there. And on top of that, we have a YouTube channel. It's what you guys are watching this on, Urban Pro Wrestling. Like it, subscribe to it. On top of that, Instagram, Urban Pro Wrestling. What are you doing? Same thing for Facebook, and on Twitter, it's Urban PW. And with that being said, everybody, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, for myself and Moses, thank you guys so much for watching. As always.
Bye.